All right, welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Philadelphia Eagles Talk with Geoff and Matt. Before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Very easy to do. Hit thumbs up, and bounce any questions at us that you may have, and we'll answer them during our next podcast. All right, so without any further ado, we're going to get right into it. Lots to talk about as training camp is really kind of in its midway point. We got two more preseason games left, and then the Eagles will be kicking off the new season against the Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. So, top of the show, bring Matt in. Matt, any initial thoughts here before we get into the program?
No, I think I don't have much that are on the top of my head floating around for Eagles football, but I will tell you, listening to the Junkies locally for the Commanders camp, just a little tidbit there. Nobody's happy with Commanders camp. They're apparently like, we can read articles about the Eagles every week, and whether it's Rube's observations or different NBC articles or whatever your favorite media outlet is for reading about the Philadelphia Eagles. It seems like camp is pretty good overall, that things look pretty sharp where we're expecting them to be sharp. And the Commanders are kind of like expecting it to be sharp as a fan base, and they're just seeing crap every week in training camp. And I don't know if that's because McLaurin's not there or people feel distracted, but they were going off all day today on the Junkies about why the Commanders don't look like they thought they should going into year two with essentially no changes other than McLaurin sitting on the sideline. So it's all preseason. Who knows what's going on? Maybe it doesn't matter. It's not even preseason. It's training camp. But I just thought that was interesting because the Commanders fans are quickly coming back down to earth, because then their talk quickly went to, well, they're not going to have as easy as a schedule, so maybe we should temper our. I'm like, yeah, you should probably temper your expectations. It'd be interesting to see when Johnny's on the show and talking Commanders, where are his expectations? But that was just what was kind of on the front of my mind today, was hearing the Commanders kind of like walking off a little bit to be like, maybe we shouldn't expect so much from this team.
Well, you mentioned it. To plug our next show, we will bring on Johnny, the Commander fan, to the program. So he'll give us his thoughts on the Commanders. So we'll get more of an inside scoop from a Commander fan perspective to see what his thoughts are and see if he echoes some of the things that you've just noted that you've heard this week on the airwaves down there in the Virginia area. We'll get an up close and personal view from a Washington fan next episode. So make sure you guys tune in for that. We'd like to kind of touch base with the NFC East and see what's happening from their end, during the preseason and of course during the season. So one of the things interesting is you mentioned how there's some dissatisfaction. You think about it, as a Commander fan, their last two games was the ass whooping the Eagles gave them in the playoffs last year, and then their first preseason this year when they got their asses whooped. So I don't know if that's anything to do with it, but just saying, their last two games that they've watched, their team's been crushed.
Yeah, we'll see. It's early. We'll see.
Yeah, obviously preseason doesn't mean anything. So I'm just partially kidding about that, but it was just kind of funny when you saw the opening kickoff in that game last week go for a 99-yard touchdown return.
Whoops.
Yeah. So we'll get Johnny's take on everything. All right. So let's kick things off, Philadelphia Eagles style here. Let's talk about the team that we all love, and huge beginning of this week injury scare. After Landon Dickerson went down late in the Eagles sort of fan carnival. Can't call it a fan carnival anymore. I guess, what was it, just kind of fan day or whatever at the Lincoln Financial
Festival.
Yeah, so the Eagles had, a good turnout, of course. Eagle fans are just continue to prove how passionate they are. And almost 50,000 fans to watch, basically not even a scrimmage, just the Eagles practice. Matt and I, we used to go down. I think we may have touched on this, maybe not so since we've gone over to YouTube, but we had some discussion about how the training camp used to be a much better fan experience than it is today. Now, maybe things have changed over the last 5-6 years. we did go down to the first Eagles quote fan carnival / practice, open practice.
That was awesome.
To check it out. Now I'm talking about the one at the link. And
that one.
It just
that was not
really fell way short.
Yeah.
As not only the vet, not even I'm going like, I wasn't even talking about the vet. The vet was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome. The true fan carnival events when they used to let people go right onto the field with the players, and you could get autographs. You could sit in line for an autograph or stand in line for an autograph waiting. But they also had Eagle players just walking around. I mean, I met Andy Reid just walking around at the fan car. Got him to sign my football.
Yeah.
Brian Westbrook. I think you were with me when he was like standing right next to us.
I got a great picture of me shaking hands with Ike Reese.
Yes.
Mystery box of ticket booth, whatever it was.
Yeah, exactly. So stuff like that, and we stood in line to get our pictures taken with McNabb and Dawkins and Deuce Staley back in the day. That was a true, awesome fan experience, and it wasn't watching them practice from sitting up in the stands. But I wasn't even going to get to that, so I'm glad you mentioned it. I was just going to go back to just training camp at Lehigh, which was another awesome experience, because that's when you were actually just watching them practice, but you were right there in the sidelines.
Yeah.
And they had autograph sessions, and you're right there on the field with the Eagles
for free. And didn't cost any money. Free.
Exactly, it didn't cost a thing. And we used to go down there. It was part of my summer vacation. I'd go down there, and Matt would meet me. Sometimes I was there maybe a day or so longer. There's I think a year or two where I went by myself because you weren't able to make it, but it was just awesome. I think the last year we went there wasn't that when Andy Reid's son killed himself?
That was the year after Andy Reid's son had taken his own life.
Yeah. So we were down there then too.
Like the day before. So morning practice was canceled.
Yeah. So it used to be just it was part of every summer when it was down at Lehigh. And then, again, I'm glad you mentioned when it was at the vet, because that was really the best out of everything was when they had it at the vet. And then they moved over to Lehigh. Didn't really do the fan carnival quote every day, but we got to watch practice right on the sidelines and watch the Eagles practice. Now it's just you sit up in the stands and they go through the motions on the field. You can't get close to the players. It's certainly when you're coming from Connecticut or Virginia like Matt and I are, it's not worth the drive. It's just not worth it.
To be fair, they didn't care about thousands of fans trampling the turf at the vet.
That's true.
They didn't have to care about any sort of groundskeeping duties at the vet. They could have anybody trample. They could have elephants trample across that thing. It wouldn't have mattered. So
that is true.
They don't want to have it at the link just so they take care of their turf, most likely.
Take care in the field. Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's just not, again, but
not the same experience.
I was talking about more Lehigh versus now watching practice. It's not nearly the same as being right next to the players, right on the field, or training field, where they now practice right across the street, at the NovaCare complex. So anyway, neither that or there. Anyone who went, I hope you had a good time. I'm not trying to put a downer on it. It's just it's not in our backyard. We got to drive 3+ hours to go down there. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it for as far as the fan experience and what you get out of it like it used to be. So it is what it is. But let's get back to where I initially was bringing this up. And Landon Dickerson, late in practice, got just a really weird injury where he got ran. I don't know if anybody actually was able to identify the player who ran him over, kind of, or made him step back or step bad at his knee. I couldn't tell who it was on the tape. I couldn't see who that was. But anyway, it was a big time injury scare. And the initial reports earlier this week was that he tore his meniscus, or there was all kinds of rumors with his knee. But even the meniscus tear was something that people were speculating might take him out for upwards of 1 to 2 months. And it can. Bad meniscus tears could put you out for the season. So
isn't that what Dean had? Or did Dean have a mediocre?
Dean, he's got all. Part of it's meniscus.
He tore his meniscus. Yeah.
Yes, part of it's that, but he also tore some other stuff. His injury's a little more severe, much more severe than just meniscus. But yeah, he's got meniscus injury for sure. But anyway, long story short, we got a couple early reports that were pretty, scary in terms of having Eagles, maybe have to play at least half the season without their starting left guard. And then the following day, you got a better report or a more encouraging report saying it doesn't look like it's a major tear. He's just going to need to get a minor scoping, and he might even have the potential of being back for week 1. And that seems to be what it's going to be. My only last hesitation and reservation was sometimes they don't know until they actually get into the knee to find out how bad the meniscus tear is. And that's what I was kind of just like, all right, sounds good, the latest report, but you often hear reports where they go in and they find out it's much worse. In this case, Landon Dickinson today, I don't know if you noticed, but he was on the field. So he had the scoping yesterday. He wasn't playing and practicing, but he was there today at camp. So clearly he didn't get any.
Cooler full of beer.
Yeah, yeah. Clearly, I mean, my point is he clearly didn't get any type of updated or more extensive surgery, because once they got in there, they didn't find anything, more severe than what they initially thought. So that is huge.
Either way, though, in any case, it made us ponder behind the scenes. Once we traded texts about what happened, we were like, who the heck is behind them? So I was looking up during the week, like, okay, who would probably be the most likely fill-in for him? And it's got to be the guard that they traded for Houston, right? They traded GJ away. They got Kenyon Green in a guard.
In an ideal world, yes. But he's also been injured, and
okay.
Even when he's not been healthy, the reports are in this camp he has not looked that good. So
okay, so then we're down to basically a guy we all know, Pryor, right? I think he's right guard versus left guard, but they've got Pryor on the roster that's got some experience. But then other than that, it's basically maybe Jeff Stoutland would have pulled off some magic with one of the tackles that they drafted, like Miles Hinton, like one of these big guys that he likes to get started at guard, give him a little experience. So who knows what would have happened. I think they would have probably relied on the draft picks to back up Dickerson.
Maybe there was some speculation from the the closer and, for me, the more credible Eagles beat reporters, like you mentioned what's his face there,
Frank Rubin's
what's that
favorite?
Yeah, Rubin, exactly, those guys. So they were speculating that what they probably would have done, because Steen has had experience playing left guard, is they would have had Pryor move to right guard, or insert him to right guard, and then move Steen over to left guard, which is what he played last year when he filled in for Dickerson a couple games. So either way, it was kind of like, and I think this is your point, Matt, we kind of were like, wow. Suddenly we're like, where the hell's our depth on the offensive line?
Yeah, right? We got the best offensive line in football, but we're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Maybe we're not so deep as we were in years past. Those guys that have proven themselves, like Fred. Is Fred Johnson even still on the team?
No, he's signed
Fred left. Yep, and then Mekhi Becton, right? So two big players that were hugely important in last year's run off the team.
Yep.
Really a void there unless somebody has to step up. And in a 17-game season, somebody's going to have to step in and play well for a couple games.
Yep.
So, whew.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, it's
a little bit thin.
And from what I'm hearing, Pryor is like the top tackle backup. So he's the guy, if Lane or Jordan goes down, that he's the one that's going to go in for either one of those guys. Yeah. So really, it's like, wow, we suddenly got pretty short on the offensive line depth. So hopefully we can keep our guys healthy. But like you said, a long 17-game season, things happen. You just hope it's not anything that lasts for extensive amount of time.
No.
I think, like you said, Stout is the key.
Stoutland University is the key.
Yep. Yeah, he's the key. Hopefully they can squeeze something out of Green, because obviously they traded him they got him back in return for CJ Johnson. So he was a first-round talent, but all the reports, like I said, even before he got injured, and I guess he's got some kind of shoulder injury, so he's out for he's going to miss most of the rest of the camp. He was not impressing really anybody. They have Kendall, but he's been more like the backup center. The guy they drafted out of BC. He was the son of the former Pro Bowler Pete Kendall. And then there's one other guy. Just was. They got Cam Williams, who they drafted. So, but he's really young and raw, and so I don't know if you could expect to be able to just plug him in anywhere right now. He's probably a 2 or 3 year project before he's going to be ready. So anyway, don't want to spend too much time. The bottom line is we've got a break, huge break. Landon appears that he's going to be fine, even if he misses opening day. That's fine. I'm sure they're going to proceed with caution. But the guy's a warrior too. I'm sure he's going to want to be in there, and we'll see. He might miss a week potentially. The Eagles will do their due diligence, and they're only going to play him if he's ready to go. So
Dickerson. Dickerson is definitely a warrior. You'll have to drag him off the field. Yep.
Yeah, he is. So he'll be probably clawing and scratching to play that first game. So anyway, Eagles dodge a huge, huge scare there, and Landon seems like he's going to be all right. Now, outside of that, the other kind of things that we've been watching in camp this year have been obviously the battle at cornerback, which still seems to be tilting left and right between Ringo and Jackson. And, of course, Bennett, is now that he's been here for over a week, he's had some reps with the first team. The guy is actually probably having the most impressive camp, honestly, from what I'm hearing. But he's still is not passed or surpassed anybody, but he's at least making it going to be a tough name to cut is Eli Ricks. Like he's got a pick 6 in camp.
Yeah.
I would at least one pick 6. I think he's got another pick.
I would give him a shot.
He's been playing really well.
I would give him a shot. He's in his second year? Let me look.
I want to say it's his third year, but
third year undrafted rookie free agent from Alabama.
Yeah. Right?
We saw his rookie season. We saw him playing preseason. Same with Tanner McKee, right? He came out of the same year that Tanner McKee came out of. Yeah. We were like, who's this guy? He gets smoked on a couple plays, but he doesn't back down. Like he forgets, moves on, and then makes a play. And he's a skinny guy. I remember him being just full of attitude and not so full of weight. But that guy seems to have the it factor to me when I've seen him on the field. And if you've got
maybe, like I said, he's the only one that's
you've got a drafted player in Keely Ringo, so they're probably trying to give him every opportunity, but maybe he's not.
They are.
Maybe he's not proven himself. But I would rather go with Keely Ringo over Adoree Jackson, who has repetitively not proved himself, even with this veteran experience. I'm like, if he's a wash with Keely Ringo, I'm like, let's get Eli Ricks in there for a couple. Give him a start and let's see what he does. They're playing the Browns. The Browns are gonna come out full tilt because they got to know what they've got in their offense. So I'd be like, give Ricks some time this week and let's see if that guy with his attitude can just, my only fear with him is he's a little bit too intense. And so maybe he gets a little grabby or gets an unsportsmanlike or something. But let's just see if he can set the tone to give these other cornerbacks something to live up to, because the other guys seem to just be washing each other out as if they're just mediocre. And I'm like, I don't want no Izell Jenkins on the other side of the field from Quentin Mitchell. I want somebody that's capable. And if Eli Ricks is it, I would love to see him get more playing time in these next 2 preseason games to make a push for that second starting role. And not be bought into Keely Ringo or the free agent you drafted, but just let the guy shine, which I have faith in Vic Fangio that if he does give him that opportunity and he shines, Vic has no problem saying, look, I don't care where you came from. You're being outplayed. So I'm going to play the guy that is outplaying you until you prove that you can outplay him. So I trust Vic Fangio in that decision, but I would love to see Eli Ricks get more time because it doesn't seem like that other cornerback spot has.
No, I mean, you're not hearing those other two come off the page at all. In fact, we saw the struggles that Ringo had in the first preseason game, and then Jackson.
I don't
didn't press all that well either. I mean, he tackled better, but that was about it.
Here's what I don't understand about Keely Ringo and the one touchdown that he gave away to Chase, where Chase caught it with an out route to the sideline, and then he just turns around and cuts infield and then just burns them. He's not going to run by you on the outside. So I don't even understand the whole mentality of that. Like, just stay on the inside chase.
Use the sidelines to your advantage.
Yeah, if he goes that way and tries to get out of you, it's just a simple push to get him out of bounds.
Right.
And maybe he gets 3 more yards, but he doesn't get 30 and a touchdown. The whole, and he's not a rookie, right? Keely Ringo is not a rookie. So I'm like, if you've watched any sort of tape on Jamar Chase, you know
the guy in his own team. AJ Brown does the same move
100%. So why, if he it's Jamar Chase. So yes, I expect that maybe he can even break that tackle and still take it to the house. But how are you so far out of position?
Yeah, he might.
That you're running like, I just don't even understand the mentality there. And that's what's most disappointing about watching Ringo's play on that particular play. I'm like, what are you even thinking? Like, protect.
Yeah, that was a missed tackle where he didn't even touch him. He didn't even get a piece of him. He missed it by 5 yards.
Yeah, you're within like 3 yards from the sideline, and you didn't even touch him on an out pattern towards the sideline. I don't even understand it. And I'm like, that's why that's a big vulnerability. If you were to ask me right now, what's the biggest vulnerability that I've seen coming into, the second preseason game? I'm like, man, that second cornerback position without Slay is really a vulnerability at this point. That's where I'm at.
And we know the Eagles have seen the same thing, because Howie basically told us that when he moved Booker to bring in, let's not forget about Bennett, who is now he's got some first string starts this week. So he's been injected right in there and has been sharing first string snaps with Ringo and Jackson. The only one who hasn't, but seems to be playing the best out of all of them is Hicks. So we'll see. We'll see if Hicks can get some more playing time. I agree with you. My number one concern is that left cornerback spot myself, because it's got to be solid, because there's a lot of 1-2 punches.
Yes.
Not only in the NFL, but in the Eagles division.
Yes.
You got Dallas with CeeDee Lamb and Pickens. You have Washington once they get what's his face back in there, which I expect to happen.
Debo and McLaren.
Debo, exactly. McLaren. And then the Giants, they have Neighbors, and I guess maybe they don't have a strong number 2 yet, but Neighbors is pretty damn good.
I thought they kept Slayton, though. I thought they kept him.
They do still have Slayton, yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's going to merge.
So I wouldn't consider him on the level of these other guys, but he's decent.
He's good. He's a good player. But here's the thing: if I'm fan,
he's good.
And I'm going into the second preseason game, and I haven't seen anything impressive out of those guys that are supposed to be battling for the number 1 spot. And I have Eli Ricks, who's making plays, and we just traded for a Raiders cornerback. I'm like, let Bentley and Ricks have a game where they switch off series, and let's see if we bench the other 2 guys. Like, you're not producing, so get your heads out of your butts. Watch these 2 guys go at it. Ricks is an ultimate competitor. You can see that in the way
he is.
Yeah, and I'm like, those guys, I don't mind watching those guys take their lumps and get.
Even when he made that pick 6, like he's like, you're talking about his energy and everything. When he made that, I don't know if you saw the play, but when he made that pick 6, he went to the end zone and punted the ball. This happened, I think, during the fan night.
Yeah,
I think he picked off Hurts.
We've talked about Ricks before in his rookie year. Maybe not so much last year, but we've talked about him in his rookie.
Not so much last year.
Yeah, we were like, that guy's interesting because he's made some plays. So, like, I want to see more of Ricks, and I want to see more of this guy that they traded for. Let them battle it out. Give these other guys the night off. And I just want to see those 2 guys play against the Browns offense that probably is going to play maybe a quarter or 2, maybe the first half. I don't know. They got to figure some stuff out on offense.
They do.
And, they gave Sanders, I think, the whole first half last time. I don't know if Dylan Gabriel is ready to play quarterback, but I want to see what those guys are able to bring at that cornerback position. Because
Sanders might not be playing because he got banged up at camp. So, he got hurt.
That's true. Yep.
So I'm not sure if he's even going to be in the game. doesn't seem to be a serious injury, but I know he's missing some time. All right, so and actually, Hurts is the one that drove him when he got hurt. When he got hurt,
Yeah,
it was Jalen Hurts who drove him back. It's pretty funny. All right, so the other one is kind of I think that right now it appears that makes me happy about it is that Brown appears to be ahead of Makuba as far as the other safety position for first string. I like that because I think Brown at least deserves a chance to beat a number one. And if he ends up blowing it or, getting beat this season early on and they decide to make a move to Makuba, I'm fine with it. But I just want Sidney Brown to get a chance of being the number one. I have confidence that he could be a starting safety in the NFL. We've already talked about the areas of his game he needs to clean up, like not being a freaking human missile at every single tackle, to be more smart about his angles and all that, not try to decapitate everyone that he tackles. And I think he's smart enough to know that. He's getting some good, put it this way, nobody's saying he's having a great camp, but he's also not having a bad camp at all. Like he's not getting burnt or anything like that. So I think he's going to probably hold on. I think he's going to hold on, hopefully. And Makuba, he got injured. He's back now, but he missed a week or so. So he got a little bit behind as a rookie. It's, you really need to be getting these reps. So we'll see. I'm not rooting against Makuba. I just want Sidney Brown to get a shot. And so I'm in his corner right now. And if he ends up getting beat out by Makuba, then so be it. But
so here's the thing. I think the Eagles traditionally under Howie, under Vic, under Nick Sirianni, they haven't had any trouble letting preseason play out and then on game one of the regular season go completely in a different direction based on what you saw with people in the starting roles during training camp. So I think the ultimate backup plan, if they can't find a corner two, is you still have Quentin Mitchell and you still have Cooper DeJean, who, if you had to, just bump him on the outside and let Makuba take that slot position. And you got Brown at safety. If these other two cornerbacks aren't really playing out, then maybe that becomes the move. We'll see. We'll know, week one when they open up in their first game against the Cowboys, where the Eagles' mind trust is at with who's playing where. But I wouldn't. I
think that's probably their plan C, or maybe plan B, or maybe plan B. I think it's there because I think they know they can do that if needed. But I think they really want to keep Cooper where he could be Mr. Versatile and be all over the field and be an impact. I
think you're going to see Cooper DeJean blitzing the quarterback. I think you're going to see Cooper blitzing the quarterback a lot more too.
Or blitzing too. Yeah.
I'm sure Vic.
That would be cool to see.
By the way, Fangio was in Denver when they got Brian Dawkins as the defensive coordinator.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
He knows who can blitz and who can't. Be interesting to see what plans they've got to unveil.
And you're pretty sure about that?
I'm pretty sure. I've been known to be wrong.
We don't want to be giving out bad information. Because that's interesting to me. I didn't know that, but it's not like I ever researched it or anything. But I
believe Fangio was head coach of the Broncos when they got
the head coach.
Yeah,
not even the DC.
I believe. I could be wrong. It was a while ago. I could be wrong.
Well, I want to take a moment and look that up, but I want to get on another topic here. So
yeah.
Maybe I'll get a chance to do that.
Yep. And just
the other,
Nick Chubb is on the Texans. He's not a free agent.
Right.
That's
true. Yeah.
Ultimately wrong before, 100%.
Yeah, and we were on a streak. We almost made it through the program without mispronouncing a Eagles player until you called Bennett Bentley.
Oh, Bennett. Sorry. It's usually you that's
usually me. It definitely is usually me.
I'll take one for the team.
The show's not over yet, and I still have plenty of time to butcher a name.
Yeah, I'll give you a break.
So the next, in fact, here we go. Like two of the most difficult names on this Eagles team. We're going to get right into it. Ironically, Uche and Ojulari, both of the backup defensive ends, trying to make an impact. The Eagles are going to need at least one of these guys, preferably two of these guys, to be impactful players, because the Eagles, as you know, they love to they're going to have to give, Smith a breather. They can't just have these guys out there the whole time. So one of these guys, if not both, have got to step up. Now, Uche's having a better camp. All the reports are that he's been looking more impressive, and they're kind of waiting to see Ojulari, do something. I guess he's kind of really not done much. So I want to see both of those guys step up.
So it's funny. A little background here. Uche's from Michigan. He's a five-year vet. He's 240 pounds and 6'1". And Ojulari is a 5-year vet, 240 pounds, 6'3", a little bit taller, from Georgia. And the difference is, aside from like training camp and what they're doing on the field, Uche stays healthy. And Ojulari, who was originally an undrafted free agent, he has been injured. According to Lindy's, he's missed 22 games in the last 3 years. So they're essentially the same player as far as...
Ojulari was an undrafted free agent. Wasn't he drafted by the Giants in like the 3rd round?
No, according to Lindy's, I got undrafted.
I thought he was in the same draft as Micah Parsons.
Yeah. Hang on. Oh, sorry. Yes. Sorry.
Accurate information, Matt. Accurate information.
We're full of honesty and integrity. I misread it. Unrestricted free agent is how the Eagles got him. But he was drafted
that is
in the
true.
second round.
Not
second round
okay.
Of 21 with the Giants. So yes, he was highly touted Georgia defender, drafted by the Giants, unrestricted free agent to come to the Eagles. And the Giants just gave up on him because of the injury history. And as we know with Howie doesn't really care about injuries. He's willing to give players a shot and see if they can recapture some of that magic. So that's probably the most interesting battle right now, besides cornerback, is that number 3 defensive end position. I think both of those guys are probably going to contribute this year, though. To be honest with me, I think both of those guys are going to contribute.
Okay. Well, I mean, we need them. We need at least one. We need one guy we can depend on for either an injury or to just provide depth. And like I said, ideally, we'd like to have 2 guys. Now, it's also going to be interesting to see how they eventually use Campbell, who we know has got pass rushing ability. Right now, it seems like that Vic is going to more or less just keeping him as a linebacker role, and he hasn't, at least the reports in camp are, he hasn't been rushing the passer much. He's been just learning pretty much strictly linebacker. He has been doing some exercises and some stuff in training camp as far as working with the D-line. So he's done some of that. It's not like they're ignoring it completely. But what we've seen in the actually like 7-on-7s and, certainly in the first preseason game, he wasn't rushing the quarterback. So we'll see if that changes at all.
No, and I don't know what's up with Antoine Powell-Ryland, the rookie that they drafted out of Virginia Tech. But
he's the guy that's really kind of a project, right?
He's 6'3", 258, though, so he seems to have more of that prototypical, at least run-stopping edge position. But I haven't heard him yet. I'm not sure if he played much in that first preseason game, so he's a name I'm looking for in the next few weeks to see if he can do anything. 6th-round pick. So, yeah, not much expectations, but I don't know. We'll see. That somebody hopefully will show in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, let's hope so. I'm still trying to go back and find the Broncos because not only I want to make sure we're giving accurate information, but I'm also curious.
Here, you move on to the next topic, and I'll look up my Broncos info.
How about you bring up a topic, because I'm already in the search field.
Well, so we talked about safety. We talked about cornerback. We talked about defensive end. Offense, we talked about Landon Dickerson. Not sure there's much left to address on the offense.
Not really.
But if we're talking about things we want to see in the next preseason game against the Browns, because hardly anybody's going to play in that third game. It's all going to be who's going to make special teams in that third game of the preseason. So,
right.
I kind of want to see. I would want to see at least a full half from some of these other guys. So if the player I just mentioned from Virginia Tech hasn't had much playing time yet, I would want to see him on the field. Let's see what he can do. I want to see what Eli Ricks can do while they're trying to figure out who they are projecting at cornerback 2. And then I think the rest of the positions are pretty well solidified. Linebacker, I think, like we talked about last week, we're as deep as we've ever been in the last 10 years with guys that are competent linebackers. So, and Smile Munden Jr., we haven't talked about him yet, but he seems to be the player that this past week has gotten all the buzz. Every article I've read has been how impressive he's been at camp, how quickly he can move and tackle and read deep. And
I talked about him last week. I brought him up last week.
Yeah. So
said that I was impressed by what I was hearing and seeing from him. So yeah, he continues to impress.
There aren't too many places to go to where I feel like we might be vulnerable. Cornerback 2 right now is the number 1 spot. But you're not. What do you got?
I have an answer. I have the verdict. Now, if I think I'm right about this, 2009 was his first year as a Bronco, correct? Was not the year he was let go as free agent? Not let go, but I mean signed as free agent. I believe it was 2009 was his first year with the Broncos, and I'll double check that. Well, hang on, I'll double check right now. Previous season, hang on. Pretty sure that was Dawkins' first year was 2009. And I'm right. Okay, so I was right about that. So 2009 was Dawkins' first year, and Vic Fangio was not only not the head coach, he was not not on the team at all. Now, that doesn't mean that he wasn't at some point. Do you want to take a guess at who the head coach was? It wasn't Vic.
It's post Peyton Manning Broncos.
Yep.
Or last year Peyton Manning.
No, it was Peyton Manning was gone.
Gone. So that means Mike Sherman was gone.
Yep.
And it's well before the guy from the Jets that was Aaron Rodgers' best buddy.
By the way, anyone who's watching this and thinks they know the answer, I know this isn't live stream, but you can still write them down in the comments.
Yeah.
Let me know your guesses down there, and we'll see how close you get.
That one's a good one.
Do you have any guesses?
No, I'm brain farting.
All right. The head coach was Josh McDaniels.
Who?
Josh McDaniels.
Oh, for 2 years before Brandon blew up that whole thing.
Offensive coordinator was Mike McCoy, and defensive coordinator was Mike Nolan. Now I'll still give you a shot, even if Vic was there while Dawkins was there. I'll give you credit. All right, so let's go to 2010, when McDaniels was fired and replaced by Eric Studsville.
I don't even know.
I don't even know who the heck that is. The offensive coordinator was still Mike McCoy. The defensive coordinator did change, but it's still not Vic. Don Martindale was the defensive coordinator. Okay. Dawkins was still there at safety. Next season, 2011, I think Dawkins played there for at least 4 years, right? A new coach, still not named Vic. Mike McCoy was still the offensive coordinator in 2011, and they had yet another defensive coordinator, still not named Vic. Dennis Allen was their defensive coordinator. So, Matt, you got one more chance left here. 2012.
I'm digging a grave.
Yeah, not looking good. John Fox was still there. Team went 13-3. This is when they had Peyton Manning.
Okay, Fox came from the Giants, right? Or Panthers?
Panthers,
Fox
I think, yeah.
Panthers before Broncos. Yep.
Mike McCoy is still the offensive coordinator, and another defensive coordinator. Is that 4 straight years with a new defensive coordinator? But still not Vic Fangio.
Man,
Jack Del Rio. Jack Del Rio.
Denver.
And I think that's the last year because I think Dawkins is done after 2012. Let me see. Did he play into 2013? Let me take a look.
It's important to be accurate.
Nope, Dawkins was done.
Done.
So not the greatest guess.
Done. When did Vic coach Bronco? When did Vic coach?
Oh, okay. I think I can go back. Hang on. It wasn't during Dawkins. He did not coach Dawkins. So talked about 2012. So 2013, John Fox was still there. Adam Gase was the offensive coordinator, and Jack Del Rio was still the defensive coordinator.
Still there.
2014.
Man.
Dawkins now retired for 2 years. I got to rub it in a little bit.
That was Vic Fangio.
John Fox, still head coach. Adam Gase and Jack Del Rio. 2015. Gary Kubiak. Okay, we got a new head coach. And we have a new offensive and defensive coordinator. Rick Dennison, an offensive coordinator. Wade Phillips. Still no Vic Fangio.
Wow.
Matt's feeling the pain now. Matt's feeling the pain. All right, let's see. 2016. Okay. Kubiak still there. Still Dennison and Phillips. 2017. Vance Joseph is now the head coach.
Yep.
Mike McCoy, offensive coordinator, along with Bill Musgrave, a new defensive coordinator. Still not named Vic Fangio.
It won't be till 2019. He was never defensive coordinator of the Broncos. I have it here. DC of the Niners, 2011 to 2014. DC of the Bears, 2015.
That was feeling so much pain he had to jump ahead.
I'm like, what? Yeah, I can't drag through the mud this
you
much.
You missed it by almost 10 years.
By a decade.
Yeah, you're a little off.
Yeah. You know what?
And no Brian Dawkins. So I don't know if he had a good safety in Denver. Maybe you're confusing him with.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm confusing with Steve Atwater at this point.
Then he would have been about 3 decades off.
Yeah, sorry for wasting 5 minutes of everyone's time. Woo!
All right, well, we had to do some fact checking. It happens. It'll happen to me too. We just want to make sure we're putting out accurate information. Yeah, took a stab at it. That's all. You're partially right. At least you knew that he was defensive coordinator of the Broncos at one point.
We need Jerome. Jerome's a stat guy. Jerome in our ear. Let us know when we're right and wrong.
Yeah. All right. So moving along here is we're now. Wow, this is a longer episode. We got to wrap this up.
That's fine.
So one other thing I just want to talk about was the Landon Johnson. It happened. See, he jinxed me. All right, Lane Johnson and Myles Garrett battle. I just morphed it together. Landon Dickerson and Lane Johnson. That would be one hell of a player, though. Not that either one of them are. So Johnson and Garrett battling out. Talk about two amazing players at their positions, just being able to, go against each other, two of the best in the business, and be able to they said Lane was saying how they're like discussing, like, hey, how did you do that? Or, what did you see there? Like, just having those type of internal discussions have got to make both of those players even better than they are. So they're really, helping each other out. And I saw one play where Landon blocked Garrett really well. I saw someone had video of it, one of the Eagle reporters, and Garrett goes back and taps Lane right in the helmet. And there's also a play where he just totally bends around Lane and went with a sack hurts. So they're both getting the best of each other. That's all I got. For injury front, I said, they got by the scare. AJ Brown's been missing a lot of camp. Not worried about AJ. I'm sure that if there was game time, he'd probably play. They're going to take it easy. He's always had those nagging kind of hamstring injuries in his entire career. That was one of the big concerns when Eagles, got him in trade, is because he was kind of a little bit injury prone when he was in Tennessee. But so I'm sure it'll be fine. And that's it. I mean, I don't have really anything else to touch on other than just to say, what's that?
No, yeah, we addressed what's current.
Yeah.
I think
we got another preseason game playing the Browns in an actual preseason game this weekend. So, we'll watch. We'll talk about some of those battles that we mentioned in this podcast. We'll see, if anybody shines or takes a step forward. I think those are the most important training camp battles, the ones we mentioned here. And we'll see if somebody can, move ahead, flash a little bit, and make a name for themselves. Because I think those positions are wide open. I don't think they have any idea. I think Sydney has a little bit. Like, I think right now, if the season, they're playing Dallas next week, I think Sydney's the starter. But it's not by a lot. I still think that Makuba, if he does something really good in these next couple of weeks, can potentially move past Sydney. And I think the number 2 corner slot spot is still wide open.
Yeah, corner 2. Most of my focus is at corner 2 and number 3 defensive end. Like those 2 positions where I'm like, please somebody come up and show us that
we need someone to step up there,
make a play.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Steen has stepped up. I'm really not concerned about Steen at right guard. I think he's getting rave reviews. So I think Steen's going to be fine there. You saw the great block that he had last week to spring Shipley on that run.
The run was all to Tyler Steen.
Yeah. So that's about it. So make sure you like, subscribe as always. We'll be back. Next episode will be on Wednesday. And I did give John the option of potentially being on the Saturday show next week. So it's going to be either Wednesday when we got John, the Washington fan, to come in and talk about the Commanders, or he'll be on Saturday. But either way, it's going to be next week. Until next time, Matt, any closing remarks?
No, just let's see another healthy preseason game get under our belts, and let's see somebody show up. So go Birds.
That's it. Fly Eagles Fly. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time on Philadelphia Eagles Talk with Geoff and Matt. Till then, as Matt just perfectly said, go Birds. Catch everybody later. See you.